Arsenal 1, Brentford 1. Welcome to Rokani Media Football. We're here to do the player ratings of how Arsenal players performed today at the Emirates in this game that really ended level in between them and Brentford. Another London derby that really showed us that teams can make it hard for Arsenal each and every time they're playing against them. And Arsenal feels like they're having limited answers to the questions being asked by the opponents nowadays, because the previous 3 games they've played in all competitions, they've managed to draw 1 and lose 2, meaning that they are really in a very poor form, meaning that they need to raise themselves and find themselves back to the winning ways by beating City on Wednesday. Smash the like button, comment and share. Rokani David is my name. But I'd love to let you know that today looked like was going to be another hard game, or a hard day, or hard match day, because Chelsea goes to London Stadium, that is West Ham. Looks like a better team. They draw 1-1. Get? After Chelsea losing games, then Arsenal draws. Chelsea never lost, but to me I call it a loss, because if you don't win against West Ham, then you are really out of what we call the title race. But teams in the top 6 that have played today have also gone to show to it that it's not really going to be an easy thing to go on and do the needful. Now, for Tottenham Hotspur, they've been beaten by Leicester City, 4-1. That's it. And very good goals coming in from Mendy, James Maddison, Haki Kenacho, and Harvey Barnes. And I believe with this form of Maddison, he is going to be on the ladder of every top team playing in every team playing in the top 6. I think he's going to be onto that. Then Newcastle has leveled with Bournemouth at home 1-1. So it shows you that it was going to be that hard day, and it might be another hard weekend as it was last time, because amongst all teams in the top 6, I think only Manchester United and Spurs won. City lost, Arsenal lost, Newcastle drew. Which other team? Arsenal was beaten. So let's wait and see how everything is going to pan out. But it looks like this corner that the teams have really taken is really tough and hard. Let's go to the goalkeeper of Arsenal, Aaron Ramsdale. I believe he made some other saves, but this one that really led into the goal is when a team needs you. That's when a team needs you to save it, because goalkeepers have won their team's points. And he has gone ahead to be doing that on several occasions, but today looks like he was really off and he costed Arsenal that goal, because you come out, you miss really the flight of the ball. That is abysmal. Anytime the goalkeeper gets off his line, he must have read that flight of the ball very, very well. And it's so much worrying that in the same season he has gone ahead to do it for the second time. Remember the goal Luke de Jong scores against Arsenal in the UEFA Europa League in Netherlands, when Arsenal lost 2-0. He comes out, he misreads the flights of the ball, and obviously de Jong heads it home. So I'm giving him a 5 out of 10 today. 5 out of 10 today, because complacency shouldn't be welcomed. The game of City, Arsenal looked very well, at least, however much they lost. The game of Everton, they looked bad. The game today looked like they have not yet flipped the switch back. So I believe that no more mercy to these players. No more mercy. And I know those players will go ahead and watch these videos, but to me, no more mercy. And this time around, it is turning from a character to behavior. And when it becomes a behavior, that means it's going to become consistent. When it becomes consistent, that calls for Arsenal to lose more games. So Ramsdale, 5 out of 10 for me. We go to Ben White, brought in a couple of crosses. At least better than the previous 2 games as played in the Premier League for Arsenal. That of Everton, he looked bad. That of United, he looked worse. To that list, we've seen some glimpses of Ben White on the field of play, but that does not qualify him to even get above average. I think the best he can get is 6 out of 10 for me, and that's why you've seen very many Arsenal fans calling for Tomiyasu to come in through and really play a part into the game they're going to play against Manchester City. A lineup that I believe maybe Mikel Arteta won't even change because he's a man who wants to really keep that team. But if he doesn't and Arsenal loses, they will come all out and really give the blame to him. This time around, they're going to go all out for him. So I'm giving Ben White a 6 out of 10. Zinchenko, I've seen people selecting Zinchenko, but I think he's doing his job. And I've seen many blaming the form of Martinelli that is dropping because of Zinchenko. But Zinchenko has been playing like that even when Martinelli has been playing very well. So don't use him as an scapegoat. He's doing his job. Get that ball from the midfield, cuts inside, inverts in the central axis. And that's what he has been doing all along. That's it. The fact is, I believe that Martinelli is really off form. He has dipped in form ever since they gave him a new contract, and it looks like there is something wrong with him. I admit the absentia of Gabriel Jesus is affecting his career, but it's not Zinchenko, because it's Zinchenko who even creates space for him by cutting inside and widening the pitch for him. Because if Zinchenko comes in to play wide, then Martinelli won't thrive. So for me, Zinchenko deserves a 6.5 out of 10 for me. Zinchenko deserves a 6.5 out of 10 for me. I don't know what your thoughts are about Zinchenko, but he deserves a 6.5 out of 10 for me. The central defense, I believe, ever since the season started, I've never seen Gabriel Magalhaes and Saliba bullied like that. Ivan Toney bullied them from the first minute to the 90th minute. They couldn't find a solution to stop this guy. You get? Because in the first half, it's God that saves Arsenal from conceding a goal by Ivan Toney. It hits the frame of the goal, bounces off, and it goes past the byline. Then in the second half, he gets another one that goes into the side net, and he looked like he could position himself, and these ones could not even reach him. He gets a free header in the middle of the goal. That is Ivan Toney for you. So I'm going to go for Saliba, 5.5 out of 10 for me. Gabriel Magalhaes, 6.5. 6 out of 10 for me. That's what I can give the central defense of Arsenal. And if at all you've been following me for all this long, I've been doing player ratings for Arsenal players, and I've rarely gone ahead to really give these people below even a 6.5 or a 7. They've been averaging a 7 per game. But this time round, they really looked bad. If they're going to compose themselves like that against Haaland, they need a wake-up call, and that is from the manager that the game is really going to be serious, and they don't need to really put the tools down. Now, let's go to the midfield. Thomas Partey, I think he came back to life. According to how he performed against Everton today, Partey played very well and controlled that midfield, and obviously connected the midfield to the attack. He won very many duels. I liked his blocks. He was not bullied like last weekend when Onana really turned him into a polythene. He looked very weak. But this time around, he came in through and really showed how good he is for a team of Arsenal. And he played very well. I'm giving him a 6.5 out of 10. That is Thomas Partey. He controlled that midfield, and nothing Brentford could pass through the midfield. And what they used was their wide players, because they played a 3-5-2 system with 3 central defenders, and they compacted the midfield with 5 players. But Thomas Partey couldn't allow them to have any happiness in the central axis of the pitch. That is Thomas Partey for you. 6.5 out of 10 for me. Granit Xhaka, I've always told you that he's dropping off. He is dropping off. And I believe sometimes teams like Brentford will know that. How do you get players like Xhaka out of the game? You get? Don't allow him to have a lot of space to operate. You know, Arsenal has few players that are really good in tight spaces. Zinchenko, Ben White, Saliba is press resistant, Partey is press resistant, Odegaard is press resistant. Who else there? Who else? I think the other one who is press resistant comes off the bench. That is Trossard. But Bukayo Saka is not press resistant. You see, even when him to bring in that cross that results into a goal at the back post, it's because Odegaard releases him through space. When he lays that ball into space, he's deadly. He's deadly. When he's having space ahead of him, he's deadly. When you tight mark him, he has no option. He just has to cut outside and find a way to pass that ball to the nearest Arsenal player. That's it. Or find a shot to goal, a shot at goal. But the others are really non-press resistant. So, Xhaka is one of those that is not press resistant. And I think what they did was to press him. They let Partey be with the ball. And they know to it that he will only be dangerous if at all you are not marking you are not marking Odegaard and Grant Xhaka. You get? They kept close onto Martinelli wide left and Saka wide right, and he had no option apart from knocking the ball around. That's it. That's why you saw to it that it was very hard for Arsenal to get a chance like they got that really got them that goal. Because that's the typical way Arsenal plays. But it was just a blip of a second. Then Arsenal found themselves in front of Brentford. But Brentford capitalized onto that and really leveled the game. I believe Fabio Vieira was delayed to be brought on the field of play by the manager. I think Xhaka's first half display was enough to show to it that this game is beyond his reach. So I'm giving him a 5.5 out of 10. Martin Odegaard, he cooked a lot in that midfield. That first goal that Arsenal can score, it's because of him. He does a return pass to Bukayo Saka with lots of space ahead of him. And I think these defenders thought that Bukayo Saka is going to go all out and add another touch, but he went in for a quick pass. And for the quick cross, it found Trossard and marked and tapped it in the back of the net. This is something I've been calling in for, that they need an early ball into the box of the opponents, because every time Saka does that, Arsenal scores. He did it against Spurs, Arsenal scored. He did it against which team? Very many teams has been doing it, though goals don't go in, but you see the threats coming in through because the team has no time to organize themselves. But if Saka takes an extra touch and doesn't cross that ball immediately, Arsenal don't score. He goes in for a quick cross, Arsenal scores. And that is the thing that they should know, that you should do what we call the unexpected. You should surprise your opponents. And today Saka surprised them with a very beautiful cross on his weak foot. So I'm giving Odegaard a 7 out of 10 for me. That's it, a 7 out of 10 for me, because I believe that it was a moment of brilliancy. It was intricate passing in between him and Saka was released very well by Odegaard. It's Odegaard who is responsible for the secondary assist, and that is the pass that Saka would love, because every time Saka finds himself with lots of spaces ahead of him, he's deadly and dangerous. So I'm giving Odegaard a 7 out of 10. I go to Gabriel Martinelli. I think he was the worst player on the field today of Arsenal. He was the worst. You know, I've seen his descendants coming out and really trying to protect him, but let's call a spade a spade. Martinelli was the worst player on the field of play today. Let's not beat about the bush. Let's call a spade a spade. He was the worst player on the field of play today. Amidst him having that chance of a volley over the bar and trying to do a cutback to find an Arsenal player already Nketiah, and David Raya blocks it into a corner, had nothing to do into that game of football. What shows you that he was really ugly? The player that came into his position showed you how he can really turn around things, scoring a goal, and you saw a lot of activity taking place off that left wide area. That left side really came back to life. It was dead when Martinelli was on. So I'm giving Martinelli a 5 out of 10 for me. He really looked poor. He really looked poor in that game. Very poor. That's why you see Arsenal fans are really calling out for Trossard to start ahead of him in the game of Man City. And I believe if I told Mikel Arteta, I turn around things, because Trossard is a player who will give you a lot when he starts the game, because he will do that hold-up play and find out a pass that Martinelli won't find out. He's press resistant. He can cut inside. He has a lot to add to the game of Arsenal. Now, when teams like Brentford have reached the 70th minute, their intensity drops. They try to defend. That's where you bring in Martinelli, because he'll be having lots of space to operate. Because Martinelli operates when there's a lot of space. That's it. But without space, he rarely operates. One of his deadliest weapons is having a ball when there is space ahead of him. He deploys his deadliest weapon of pace and speed. He's too fast, lightning quick. That is Gabriel Martinelli for you. Then, after giving him Gabriel Martinelli 5 out of 10, I go to Bukayo Saka. I believe Bukayo Saka had a very good game today. And that decision he makes of bringing in a quick cross should be one of the things you'd master always. Let him not try to keep the ball a lot on him. That really affects his entire team. He needs not to keep that ball on him. He needs to find that early pass to see to it that he releases what we call these players of Arsenal that are already putting themselves in a position to score. So, Saka, 7 out of 10 for me. And I'm going to have 3 men of the match contenders. And I don't know who you're going to choose. Then, let's go to the substitutes. Oh, Eddie Nketiah. I believe Nketiah, I see no reason as to why Nketiah plays 90 minutes. That's why, for me, I really believe in taking off Martinelli off the field of play. We've known Martinelli as one of those players that can lead the line. Not so? So, and his movement is really great. He's a threat to the back, and he's better at least, though he's not good at acting at tight spaces, but I think he's better than Eddie Nketiah leading the line sometimes. Get him off, put Martinelli to lead the line, get Trossard in. I think that would have acted well for Arsenal. I think Mikel Arteta has to start to think about that before Jesus returns, I shouldn't be taking off Martinelli. I should be taking off Eddie Nketiah. So, Eddie Nketiah had a chance in the first half, I think. He never had very many chances, that's it, because Arsenal never created a lot. Brentford had lots of bodies deployed into their 18 yards box area, and they couldn't allow him to really operate. They denied him space. They couldn't give him a free go. And obviously, it never worked out. 5.5 out of 10 for me for Eddie Nketiah. Go to the substitutes. Trossard scoring a goal. This is why I'm giving him a 7 out of 10 for me. Do you know why? This is something that Arsenal was looking for. For the entire 50 minutes, I think it was the 66th minute when he scores, Arsenal was looking for the goal, and it was nowhere to be seen by them. This man comes in through, he scores that goal that Arsenal needed, puts them ahead. Now it was the mantle was onto the players of Arsenal in the defensive areas to find ways of really stopping Brentford from scoring, because Brentford had moments in the second half, but Arsenal had the best game. He gives Arsenal the goal, they fail to defend it, they draw the game. Have no problem with Trossard. His coming on brought a turn in shift on that left area. It started being active. He was drifting left, right, very good centrally, trying to really disorganize the back four of Brentford. It worked out well, and you saw to it that very many openings were started to be created, all found by Arsenal players, because Trossard's movement and mobility was really out of this world. So I'm giving Trossard a 7 out of 10 for me. Now, Fabio Vieira comes on, plays as a normal Vieira, but I believe he deserves more minutes. I believe people will be loving Granit Xhaka, but time reaches when you can't do anything in the game. And the only thing you're calling for is to get this player off the field of play and get in Fabio Vieira. He deserves more minutes to come on and really change the game, because Xhaka looked like he had nothing to offer to the game. Apart from that header, he directs to Martinelli towards the end of the first half, and Martinelli goes in for a volleying effort. Nothing else. Nothing else. So, I think those are the two players of Arsenal that came on. Is there any other player that came on? I think those are the ones that came on too. And Mikel Arteta, for that Trossard substitution and bring on Fabio Vieira, though he delayed to bring him on, I'm giving him a 6.5 out of 10. It would have been 7 if at all he had taken Eddie Nketiah off the pitch. Let Martinelli stay, put Eddie Nketiah off the pitch, Trossard off the left, Martinelli through the middle, Saka wide right. I think magic would have happened better in that way. So my man of the match is Trossard. That's my man of the match. Obviously, scoring that goal and doing needful, he was really great. So, thank you for watching in through. Your reactions to my player ratings are welcome in the comment section below. Rokani David remains my name. I sign out for now. See you later. And may the Almighty Lord bless you abundantly. He should cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. Amen. Guys, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Let's wait and see what is going to pop up tomorrow as Arsenal prepares for Manchester City. Remember, they're only having Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. 3 days to prepare for City, but I believe the game of City is going to be a more different game altogether. City will let Arsenal express themselves. They won't park the bus. They won't sit there. That's it. They won't park the bus like Brentford. They are going to play an open game, and Arsenal would love such a game at Emirates. So I sign out for now. Bye-bye.